Welcome to the Blueprint Podcast. Come explore the roadmap of our shifting consciousness where self-actualization, exposing your talents and gifts is the norm. Now here's your host, Angela Blaha.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining the Blueprint Podcast. I'm Angela and I have Renee Keene with me again today. Thanks, Renee, for being here. How are you?
I'm good. And yourself?
Fantastic.
Lots going on.
I know, right? Like, ooh, we can feel all the exciting energies these days. Okay, so we have some questions from listeners. And so I think that's what we're going to do. And there's several that have similar kind of questions, but have different avenues to each one. And so their questions deal around energy and energies. So the first question is, how do I protect myself or my energies from feeling drained? Well, the first thing I would respond is, why do you believe you need protecting? Right? If you believe that you need some type of protection, then what's the purpose? Like, why do you have to have protection? That's the first question. Feeling drained can literally come from a very vast number of reasons, right? Or things. But if you feel like you're being energetically zapped or have an energy vampire in your mix or, in your home or work or wherever, then I would say, why do you put up with that kind of being around you? Like, why are you putting up with it? That's really where we're at in our consciousness these days, is what are you willing to put up with and what are you willing to say no to? We vibrate with what we are willing to put up with, right? Yeah. This doesn't mean that we have to allow these people or the way that they talk to us maybe in our lives. Like, this is a form of self-sabotage, and it's one of the atrocities to humanity that I just oppose and get all crazy about. It's not you being a nice person. Like, this is, and I think particularly women are sort of caught up in this because we do have that sort of programming. We're not nice if we're, not nice to everyone, blah, blah, blah. But it's not self-mastery. Like, if you're putting up with someone who is stealing your energy or taking your energy, or you don't have a good boundary set for that, that's not what self-mastery is. And this podcast is all about self-mastery. Instead, it's you literally agreeing to societal or familial rules that state that you are a nice person, that you are unseen, unheard, and all you are good for is for someone to come along and to use your energy. That sounds a bit harsh, but it's really how it is. This is literally self-harm. These kinds of agreements that we have made in the past, that we make either consciously or unconsciously, most of the time they're unconscious and we're just agreeing to a way of being, right? The way that our parents tell us to, or your teachers tell you to. But you are the only one that holds the power to change it. And you do it by creating really strong boundaries.
And no one can zap your energy or drain you if you don't allow them to. Exactly. So the responsibility is yours and yours alone.
Exactly.
To stop it, to stop that draining, to just completely say, nope, not happening anymore.
Yeah.
It's not about being, Susie nice or whatever you want to call it. It's about owning your own, being responsible for your own self-actualization.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that's important when we're switching from the old earth to the new earth. Like, it's not even a concept in the new earth energies. Like, nobody can take my energy. No one can be no one can, like, destroy or even trigger or any of those kinds of things in the new earth mentality. Like, it's me. It's all about me. It's my responsibility. It's me being a conscious being about my energy, about, being a really good steward of my energy, knowing who I am, it's not even a concept there.
Mm-mm.
So that tells me that maybe, there's some alignment issues of new earth, and what does that really mean to you, versus, being a victim of the energy in the past.
I'd say if you want to, that's how you're feeling, or that's the way you're sensing your energy working like that currently with somebody sucking it from you. That's your opportunity. That's a huge opportunity to say, whoa, wait a minute. I'm not up for this. I'm not aligned with this. I'm done. And
Right.
that's really all it takes to stop it.
Right.
Just,
But, if we don't feel like we're enough, or we don't feel like we're worthy of doing that, or being in control of who we are, or maybe we believe in destiny of some sort, that's you, not really being in your power, not really being that master of who you are. So yeah. Anything else you want to add to that? That's really
I think we kind of covered that one.
good. Next question is it necessary to clear my energy fields constantly, or should we focus on what we want? Focus on what you want.
Yep.
I mean, that's literally the end of that question. So we've talked consistently on the new earth and the fundamental attributes that you want in your new world. I think that this is where it really comes into play. Like, if you're focusing on what you really want, how are you changing? How are you being in a new mentality, a new fundamental, right? Like, what are the essential components? For me, these are my essential components. Nonviolence, non-duality, bliss, confidence, memory of who I am and who I've been in the past and who I'm becoming in the future. Telekinesis, telepathy, that third dimensional understanding and knowing how to create. So if you're connecting with the new earth frequencies, then your vibration isn't at a level where you need to constantly be cleansing, right? Like, that's, again, not a new earth vibrational frequency. Like, we don't need to cleanse ourselves. If you are the creator of your world, then who says you have to cleanse it for anything? Again, that victim, third dimensional victimhood that belongs with duality, it doesn't exist there. But if you are still believing that you have to cleanse your energy, then I'm gonna say that there is some healing that needs to take place, because, again, that it's not the same vibrational pattern that you see in New Earth, or that you feel or experience in New Earth.
Again, it's an old paradigm to believe that there's something you have to cleanse.
Right.
And we've all looked at this shifting into this new world.
Mm-hmm.
And those old paradigms, they pop up every once in a while, and you're like, whoa, no, not going down that avenue.
Right.
That is old. And for some of us, I'm going to say, who are new to all of the concepts wrapped up in the spiritual world,
Mm-hmm.
some of these old paradigms are brand new to you.
Right.
So that's where I think sometimes people are getting caught in, but it's brand new. I didn't even know that this was a possibility. So I understand that. I get where you can be there. It's more than imperative right now that you're very conscious of the old paradigms.
Yes.
And anything that feels like you're being trapped, tricked, held on to, lack of another word for that. But look at that. Ask yourself, what paradigm is this? Is this an old paradigm? Is this a new world paradigm?
Yeah. If it's keeping you wrapped up in some sort of a pattern,
Yes.
that's an old paradigm.
Yeah.
Cycles, right? Like all of the earth cycles and all of those kinds of things,
Mm-hmm.
we're still being drawn to them. But is the earth holding you in its control that way? Or is it trying to expand you in that way? So, you really have to you're right. You really have to start looking at what's old, what's new, what's really aligned. If it feels, even though it is a new concept for you, maybe that, that you have to cleanse your energy or your house or whatever, that, if that's a new kind of avenue for you, we get it. We get it's exciting. It's like, oh, I'm finally being in control of myself, but you're really not. You're just being in control of the pattern.
And it's even like you said about like cleansing yourself, your house or whatever. Palo Santo is one of those tools from the past that we've used to cleanse ourselves, to cleanse our spaces or whatever. I still use Palo Santo because I like the smell of it.
Yeah.
I like what it brings into I like its vibration.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily the same as it was before. Before I had this thought pattern that I needed to cleanse the room before the next client came in or whatever. That's not what I no longer have that even as a semi-belief. I know that's not true. I can still use it though, because I love the vibration of it.
Yeah.
So it's looking at things in a completely different, brand new way.
Well, is it truthful?
Mm-hmm.
Does it feel truthful? Is it really cleansing for you, or do you just enjoy it? Right? That's a difference. Yeah.
And that's totally different. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, next question. Deflecting negative energy and cleansing of anything that may have been attached. Well, okay. So if instead of trying to cleanse, what if you literally raised your vibration? Because as the last question we said, that you're the one that if you still have that sort of mentality about it, then there's something that probably needs to be healed. But if you raise your vibration, or if you change your vibration, if you change the way you think about it, that something can actually attach to you. If you change your thoughts about that's a belief in the past, sure. Was it true? Probably. But is this the truest way to cleanse? Like, really ask yourself, what's the truest way for me to cleanse? Is it to change my vibration, completely change my vibration? So if you vibrate at a different level, whether it's higher or lower or just plain simply different, you won't have anything to deflect or cleanse, because whatever you believe is harming or attaching to you will not stay with you, because they can't match that vibration. I hope I explained that right.
Yeah, that is exactly correct. Okay. You are responsible for your vibration.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you don't want things to match your vibration, adjust it.
Exactly. That's the whole component of self-mastery and creation. If you're in constant mood or constant forward movement of creation, nothing attaches to you, because you're always creating something new. You're always changing your mind. You're understanding your emotions deeper. You're healing something up. And of course, if you're constantly vibrationally changing, well, what's going to attach to you? Nothing, because they can't change as quickly as you can.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Right. I suggest, however, that you set new boundaries for yourself. For example, change your mindset. Again, heal up any wounds that you may have from childhood or past lives, or soul wounds. Like I see a lot of soul wounds coming into awareness now. Open to receiving abundance versus lack, living in a lacking kind of paradigm, or a paradigm that has duality where there's positives and negatives. Understanding your emotions, clean up your food intake. That's a huge one right now, is cleaning up the third dimensional body. And you can do that through light. You don't actually have to do it through exercise or food like we used to believe. You can actually do it through light or telomere kind of activity, but it's not really telomeres anymore. It's neutrinos. So things are always changing. know who and what energy that you are aligning with. I think that that's one of the most important things as we're moving through this shift is, who are you aligning with? I mean, that's my question to all of you is, what are you really doing right now? Who are you plugging into? Who are you learning from? Who are you, going on retreat with? Like, what's the truth here? Like, anyone who asks you to vow or pledge or do a certain ritual, I'm going to say, don't follow them. Because that is not New Earth vibe. That's just not New Earth vibe. Now, should you go on a retreat to have an experience? Yes, but that better be your only intention. It's not to embody whatever someone else does or anything like that. But, if you're going on a retreat and your leader says you have to do this, I'm going to say
This way.
I would say no. I'll do it my way. Right? Because in New Earth, like, that's what it is. Like, teachers and leaders can give you examples of what they have done that worked, or can read your Akashic field and say, okay, well, this is what looks like it could be aligned for you. But ultimately, you're the one that gets to decide. You're the one that makes that decision, not them. So I think that that's really important as we're constantly shifting here. Who is it that are you playing around in the old paradigm still, or are you connecting with the New Earth energies? Well, so Renee, what are some of the New Earth frequencies for, well, I don't know if you want to call them spiritual, but they're just natural abilities like telepathic communication.
Yeah. Yes. No, well, telekinesis, you said that before too, telepathic communication. What's the clairaudience? That's more
The hearing one, the clairaudient, yeah.
It's clairaudience, but it's a different level.
It's very different, yeah.
It's not that old, but there is a word. I'm missing it, I guess, in my vocabulary.
Well, the one thing that I've seen, which is I feel like it's way more powered than what we used to believe, was the clear knowings. Like that natural, just pure, like there's very much a pureness. And if we're not vibrationally matching pure energy, it can feel very like ooh, I don't know what that is, right? I mean, your nervous system can get a bit overwhelmed with it. So again, healing up some of your past, clearing up some of those kinds of things, fantastic. Do you need to clear your energy field? I don't. If you do, you should do it. If it's an intuitive hit that you should clean up your energy field, then do it.
Then do it.
But ask what's underneath there, right? Like what's hiding underneath you having to clear your energy field that you're not willing to see. And, reach out if you need a mentor, because that's where we are, I feel, on the bridge into the new world.
I want to piggyback on your I know piece. That's always been probably my strongest ability, is just I'll get information and I just know it. I would encourage people to really follow through with that when you get those hits. And it's not the old paradigm of I know because I'm smarter than you. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about every cell in my body knows that this piece of information is accurate. And when your body can tell you that, pay attention. It's completely different from the old I know, because I have 8 degrees and, whatever. That's why I know. No, this new world I know is your truest self, your truest form. Acknowledge it. When you get those hits, learn to follow them. Learn to understand that for some reason, you just know you should turn left, even though your car thing is telling you to turn right, because you're supposed to go left. Right. There are so many simple ways in our everyday lives to practice with your knowing. so many simple ways to practice.
Yeah, agree.
And so just really in the next, this whole fall is going to have a lot of movement in it, I'm going to say. So I would encourage people to really dive deep into paying attention to what they know.
Yeah.
It's in us all. We all have it.
And the other thing about that is if you are paying attention to your knowing, there should not be fear.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if something looks totally bizarre and so new that you're just like, my mind can't even understand what that is. It's okay. The new earth is not anything that we've seen before or witnessed before.
Exactly.
And we can't take the old into the new because you're not creating anything new if you're constantly rewriting something,
Mm-hmm.
like I was at a conference just recently and they kept saying, rewriting your story is important. I'm like, no, it's not. Stop telling people that. Your story is not important when you're trying to create something new. You can't, it's like addiction. Like when you come in and let's say, I'm going to use my dad here for example, because he's a good one. So he was addicted to alcohol, right? For him to go to rehab, come back, or even get sick. That's literally what happened to him was he got sick, dried out, came back to the same old thing, had the same old mentality, and thought he was gonna like change. No, he didn't change one tiny little bit because he thought he could just rewrite things. That's not how you create a new being. If you're looking to move to a higher level of making more money, having more love in your life, being more successful, having more sex, whatever it is that you're trying to improve upon, you cannot bring the old in. It just doesn't work that way. And in the new earth, like there's creation, but then there's also destruction. And it happens simultaneously there. And so it's like, it's so freeing because you don't have to drag anything with you. If you're going to rewrite your old story, you're just dragging your old story along.
Yeah.
And it serves no purpose whatsoever.
There's no forward movement when you continue to bring the old story.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nope.
And we can't do that. Anything else you want to add about energies or like what we should be doing with them? Or I say don't follow any old programming for sure. Any old paradigm.
I agree. And
yeah, it's almost becoming harmful.
There are some things that are harmful. There are some things that can tie us to old stories.
Yeah.
I would just encourage everyone to live through your heart.
Yeah.
Live through your heart and check with your heart, that heart energy, that pure, like you were talking about. If it's pure, ask to see the pureness of what you're looking at. That's a good way to start if you're looking at different energy questions or whatever. I want to see the pureness of what is in here for me. Right. What is there? Sometimes there might be something for you to learn.
Right.
It's just, it's very important, as you've been saying all along, Angela, to honor thyself.
Mm-hmm.
And for each of us, that takes a little different avenue. Today, I met with a woman and we talked about she's choosing Wednesdays for her wellness day, her water day, her walking day, her wholeness day. We just went through a whole gamut of what that day is going to look like for her. She's not looking backwards.
Mm-hmm.
She's looking forward. She's saying, I am going to be the whole woman that I am.
Yeah.
And I'm creating a whole day, one day a week, to completely focus on what that is. Yay. Next thing you know, it'll be 2, 3. Next thing you know, it's every day is about my wholeness of being.
Right.
We get to start someplace.
Right.
So whatever it takes for you to just really be the person that you are, to stand up for who you are, That's where we're at, people. I mean, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
We can't stay stuck in old stories, old paradigms, old patterns. When they come forward in your life, just say goodbye to them, give them a kiss, and out the door you go, or kick them, whatever works for you.
Exactly.
It depends on the person, but it's time.
Yeah.
It is time to get off the fence and move forward.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no more waiting, like, honestly. And I know, especially for women, like, that the mother of all the gods is literally calling us. Like, in some ancient histories, it's called the crone, or that whole ancient wise woman. Like, she is calling, and she's not going to let go. She's not going to let go. And so, answer the call. Just answer the call.
There, that's the perfect way to say it. Answer the call. And if you need somebody to help you figure out where you're going, contact someone. Contact someone who's in the place of a new world, a new way to be.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Not old stuff.
Right, because there's, and I've said this, like, for the last couple of years, the matrix doesn't hold energy. And the matrix for the 5th through the 12th dimensions have now been deconstructed. And so there's no energy even in those dimensions. So, I can understand that people are sort of asking these questions because they're feeling it, right? Like, they're sensing that there's a change here, and their mind is going to the past because that's the only place it can go. And so, they're asking, well, is this an attachment? Because I feel so weird, or, do I need to clear up my space? I understand why we're asking these kinds of questions, but remain future focused, connect with that new earth energy, and people who are teaching about the new earth, and don't look back. Just don't look back.
And you brought up a great point that so much has been deconstructed. Perhaps that's why some people feel like something's just really missing. Because guess what? It is.
It is.
It really is. It's gone. It's not there anymore.
Exactly.
So that should help too.
Yeah.
To understand that piece.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for joining again. It's always so fun when we can talk about these kinds of things and just, like, share what we do know for sure.
Yeah. And it's always important to have fun.
Yes.
The new world is very inclusive of fun.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, everyone, for joining. And until next week, have the most amazing experience in your shifting consciousness.
Thank you for being with us today. To find out more about Angela, visit her website at www.angelablaha.com